Good evening, dear English Without Borders followers. We are so happy to see all of you. And today we are also excited that we have a great speaker today, Anisa Hojieva, who is joining us from EducationUSA Tajikistan service and working for American councils. Anisa will talk about EducationUSA Tajikistan services and opportunities for teachers and students. And this is a great opportunity for many followers and for all of those who would like to know more about education in USA and how to apply to those programs, grants, and scholarships. So Anisa will be telling more during this webinar hour. Anisa is a Flex alumna of 2011, 2012, and Anisa Hojieva has got accepted to the American University of Central Asia in 2013 with a full scholarship. Her studies were funded by the US Central Asian Education Foundation, and she has successfully graduated from the UCA with a bachelor's degree in economics. Currently, Anisa Hojieva works for the American Councils for International Education as an EducationUSA Adviser and coordinates in EducationUSA program countrywide for about 3 years now. Welcome, Anisa. We are so happy to see you. And dear audience, please use this chance to ask your questions to our speaker today and get responses, and also to explore a wide opportunity of services and opportunities for teachers and students provided by EducationUSA Tajikistan. Thank you very much. Anisa, I'm giving the floor over to you. Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. I hope you all are doing great. I'm happy to present here today. I would like to share with you what EducationUSA is, what we do, and how we can support you and your students by any chance. I would like to share my presentation. So if you will have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me at the end of the session, during the session. I will be happy to respond to all of them after the presentation ends. So can you see my screen, right? Can you see? Okay, good. So basically, I hope majority of you do know what EducationUSA Tajikistan is, and I do hope you have worked with us in the past. If no, it's your chance to meet us and to get to know about what we do, how we do, and how we can help you in the future. EducationUSA is your official source to US higher education. We are State Department network of 400 international advising centers in more than 170 countries. We are funded by State Department, by US State Department, and our main mission is to promote US higher education by providing accurate and comprehensive current information about US studies, universities, and etc. We support everyone who is interested in higher education in US. Does not matter whether it's bachelor's or grad or postgraduate studies. And everything we do, all the services we provide, they are free. So we do not, you don't have to pay us any fees or something. When you come to EducationUSA, you will meet an advisors. In Tajikistan, we have just one advisor, which is me. And we are trained by US State Department. So information we share with you is a true information, comprehensive, and current information. We have certain policies we follow. We have certain rules we follow. Therefore, there are things we can help you with, and there are things, unfortunately, which we cannot do for you. But if everything which relates to education in US, if you will have any questions, be sure that the right answer you will find from Education USA Adviser. And you may ask question like, right, why this Education USA centers have been created, right? If you talk about education in US, if you talk about universities in US, and if you will start, learning about the process of applying to US university, you would notice that the process differs a lot from process to applying, for instance, to universities in Tajikistan or Russia or China. That's why, to make sure the process is clear to you and that you have equal opportunities as, for instance, students from US or other countries to apply to those like highly qualified schools. Therefore, those Education USA centers have been created to make sure that the process is explained to you, and you can use like us as your guide to apply to US university. In Tajikistan, we have just one advising center, as I said, and our physical center is located in Dushanbe. We located in Rudaki Plaza Center on the 6th floor, and we have just one advisor once more, which is me. For the past 2 years, all the work Education USA does, it's virtual. So unfortunately, right now, we cannot come to the office, but we keep working virtually. So all the services we provide right now, they are virtual. We work online. But before 2020, we had the physical office. We still have it, but right now we work from home. But before 2020, you could come to the office and you could meet us in person, and everything we've been conducting was in person. However, right now, it's a new normal, right? We work online. We work from home. And in Tajikistan, Education USA is operating for more than 20 years. And we provide following services. So one of the main services we do, it's consultations or advising, right? So we work with individuals or groups, and we talk, consult about US higher education. We also organize workshops, trainings. We have cohort groups we work with. So we have students with whom we work throughout the year. We have special programs for them. Other than that, Education USA organizes fairs where you can meet US universities directly and ask your questions, directly from the representatives. We have a huge outreach program where we try to reach students across the country. Despite the fact that the physical center is located in Dushanbe, and I live and work from Dushanbe, we still try to cooperate with students and audience from any part of the Tajikistan. It does not matter where do you live. If you have questions about US higher education, Education USA is there to help you. We also organize mock tests. So for those of you who prepare for the standardized testing, you can reach out to us and we can help you with test materials and mock tests. And also we have library of advising resources where we have books to share, which you can rent for 2 weeks. And once more, everything we organize, everything we do, it's free. So you don't have to pay for consultations, for attending the workshops, or participating in any program we conduct. Next, I will share about everything in more detail, so you'll have more information. So I think the biggest use of our services, which teachers and students can make, is consultations or advising, right? So as I said, Education USA's mission is to promote US higher education, is to talk about US higher education, to share the information, to tell you about the process, to tell you about the benefits of US education, and to help you to get that education, right? So the biggest part of my job is to consult you about the US higher education, and consultations right now, they happen online. So we consult you by email, by Zoom, WhatsApp, or by phone, right? I know that internet may be an issue for many students or teachers from from far regions in Tajikistan. That's why in that case, you can simply call us and we will consult you by phone. We would answer your questions about, for instance, how to apply to US university, where to search for that university, right? Or maybe how to apply for a scholarship. For instance, you may have a list of universities you like, but you're not sure whether this university is worth to apply in terms of whether it has accreditation or not. If you have questions like that, if you have doubts like that, you can always reach out to us and we will Like we will tell you, for instance, whether the university is accredited, whether at the end your diploma would be certified, and like, you know, your education will be counted, and etc. Right? For instance, or you just started the process and you have no idea where to start, you still can reach out to us and we will tell you about all the steps you need to make. And we can share with you some resources about, for instance, which websites to use to search for the universities, which websites are more useful, or sometimes, you know, students know the universities they want to apply to, and they start the application process and they see that some documents does not sound familiar to them. Like they don't know what is Common App, for instance, or they don't know what is application form, or I don't know, I-20. If you have questions like that, once more, you can definitely email us and reach out to us and we'll help you. Like we will answer your questions, we'll explain you the process. This is things we do. What we don't do, it's like sometimes, you know, people call us and tell, I want to apply to US university, which university I should go to. So as EducationUSA Adviser, I cannot tell you where you should go. Like it's your choice, right? It's your choice to decide which university you would like to attend. Because in US, there are more than 4,000 US universities. And out of those 4,000 US universities, it's your decision to make, like, you know, whether to go to university in California or in Florida. So do not expect me to name you the school you would be studying in the future, right? Because this is not this should be only your decision. What I can do, I can help you, like, you know, I can tell you like about the qualities. I can I help you like to create maybe the list of benefits of those different schools. But once more, it's your choice to make, to decide which university to go. And also, as EducationUSA, we represent all the universities in US, all the colleges in US. We do not work with specific one college, or would not prioritize one university over another. That's why if you have questions to us, please know that like we represent all of them. If you are seeking for the right school to apply to, I would never tell you this is the right school for you. No, I can tell you about how to search those schools, how to identify between them, how to differentiate one school from another. But once more, it's your choice to make where to apply or not. Also, you know, a lot of questions come about visa applications. I just want to clarify that we can help you with resources. We can tell you where do you apply for visa, which documents need to collect, and that's it. Other than that, it's your responsibility. It's your job to to apply and to go and to have your interviews. But I can share with you like the website, the resources, and etc. you can use. But it's your job to prepare and to go there. The same with your application process. Whenever you prepare your documents and you come for the consultation, I will explain you every single document, like what it means, where to find it, like how to apply, like what's bank statement, where to get the one, right? What is an essay? I can share the resources about how to write the essay, but I will never write it for you, right? Or with your application form, I can check your common application, but I would never like write it for you or make it for you. This is one thing you have to understand, because we get a lot of questions from people expecting us to do the job for them, but it's not like that. We explain you the process, we guide you, but it's your job like to follow the guidelines. Okay. But if you have any questions about US higher education, like in the process, you can definitely reach out to us. As I said, phone calls, emails, you can email me and we can set up like a Zoom call or WhatsApp call or whatever. That's why please know about that. And once more, doesn't matter, like if you are a teacher and you're willing to continue your education, for instance, you would like to apply for the PhD programs or graduate like master's degree programs, exactly, you can email us and we can share with you like resources, information we have. If you have students interested and like you know that they are too shy, for instance, to contact us, or they don't have the opportunity, you can contact us on behalf of your students. And again, we can share with you all the resources we have, so you can share it with your students and teachers. And when I say about the resources, it's mostly like, presentations or guides. For instance, 5 steps to US university, right? We have a short guide where we explain you with different like websites, what you need to do, which website is created for what. Or for instance, since majority of you teach English, and I'm sure some of you students they prepare for the TOEFL test or Duolingo test or maybe SAT, and you're not sure that you have enough materials, you can email us, you can reach out to us, and we can share with you like materials we have. And once more, it's all for free. Other than that, we have a cohort group, advising group. So we have a group of students we recruit every year, and then we work with them throughout the year. So one of the biggest programs we have So College Prep Club program, it's for high school students in grades 8, 9, and 10. And this is a program for those students who plan to like do their bachelor's in US universities, right? Who plan to apply to US universities to get their bachelor's degree. So we recruit them in early January. So for instance, the recruiting for this year has just finished, right? The first application round has just closed. We received 276 applications, and out of those 276 applications, we would need to choose 40 kids with whom we will work like the next year for 11 months, and whom we're gonna like teach and help them to apply and get in the US university. So we work with them throughout the year, and we cover topics as like admission to US universities, application process. We work with them on test prep, TOEFL prep, SAT prep. We work with them on academic writing. So we teach them how to write, because if you apply to US university, writing is a big part of your life. Does not matter, bachelor's, master's, PhD, you're gonna write a lot. And since writing, as a culture is not that much developed in our high schools, that's why with the help of the College Prep Club program, we try to make sure that our students know what writing is, and they know how to create different type of essays and etc. All the sessions, it's a closed group, so we recruit them in January, and we work with that group throughout the year. So it's a closed group. They come to us like twice per week, online or offline, depends like on situation. But we recruit students from all Tajikistan. So students from Dushanbe, they usually come to offline classes, and students outside of the of Dushanbe, they have the sessions, they have the pre-recorded sessions, right? So they attend them online. We have a Google Classroom that we create where they like receive all the assignments and submit the homeworks, and we track their progress through that platform. For the past 2 years, everyone was studying online because, well, the situation, etc. But starting from 2022, this year, the process, like the College Prep program would be hybrid, right? So they will have partially online classes and partially offline classes. So the program exists for more than 7 years now, and we have about more than 100 alumni, and our alumni study not just in US, of course, the goal of the program to make sure that they apply to US universities. But right now, US universities located in different parts of the world, right? So they are studying in US, of course, in Europe, in like Central Asia, and etc. Some numbers, every year we make sure our kids apply to US universities, and about for instance, in 2020, we had 77 applications to US universities, and our students received altogether, 22 students received financial aid in the amount of more than $600,000, which is, I think, quite impressive for students from Tajikistan. And this year, I mean, if you have applied or your students have applied, this is great. It's a great program. I highly recommend, if some of you work with high school students, to let them know about the program, especially kids who are very talented, who have huge potential, but they come from, for instance, not from Dushanbe, but from other parts of Tajikistan who doesn't have that much of information available for them, because the program is free. They work with us for a year, and all the classes, all the sessions are in English. So their English language develops a lot, and they get to know a lot of information they won't receive at school, for instance. Just some pictures of our students when everything was offline. Right now, all the pictures are taken in Zoom. That's why I have decided to share, what was before. And some of our alumni. Our recent alumni, Surush, she's currently in Michigan State University. We have Amit Khan, Surush is from Dushanbe, right? And we have Amit Khan, who is CPC alumni 2020. He's also in US, University of Akron, and he is from Fujian, for instance. We have Gursimo, she's from Cohort, and she's also in US Northwestern University. And we have Jahonan, like one of the first cohorts, she's also in US. And I have, of course, more like bigger number of students to showcase, but this is just, you know, the 4 of them who are like, he is a freshman, he's a sophomore, she's a junior, and she's like a senior, right? Okay, so other than, like, you know, as I said, Cohort Club, it's for closed group, right? So we recruit high school students and they work with us throughout the year, and this is the only students we recruit in January. However, like, you know, we try to reach everyone who is interested, and we try to work with everyone who wants to apply to US University. And therefore, Education USA conducts different workshops and trainings. Every month, we try to organize something. And for instance, like today, we will announce the the applications for the graduate school workshops. So yes, we mostly work with high school students with the College Prep program, and we help them to apply to bachelors, but we also want to make sure we meet the interests of those who want to study in graduate school. That's why we run graduate application workshops annually. And today I will share the announcement. If you are interested, or your students are interested in graduate studies, masters mostly, like, or PhD, you can tell them about this opportunity. They can register, and they will work with us for a month and a half. And where we will be sharing with them different, like, you know, information about application process to graduate school in US. And it's not just me, like, who presents and talks. We cooperate and we partner with US universities, and majority of information is shared directly by US universities. So students will learn from about the process directly, like from the ones who will recruit them in the future, right? We also like run workshops which about like standardized testing, like SAT and TOEFL. It's also on annual basis. We already had SAT workshop in November, but we will have a TOEFL prep workshop in March. So those of you who plan to take TOEFL in the future, it's your chance to like learn some tips and materials for free, right, from Education USA Center, because tutors who work with you, like, you know, the test scores are like quite impressive. So our SAT tutor, for instance, he's in 95th percentile, right? So his score is 15. I'm not sure about the exact score, but it's almost like 1600, which is the highest score. The same with TOEFL. It's more than 110 for our TOEFL tutors. So the information they share, I'm sure you will have a lot to learn from them. We also run writing marathons. It's something new we do. It's going to be the second year we will have it. And as I said, writing culture is not that developed in the country. And I think as teachers, you know that, right? Especially in high school, our students do not know, like, you know, not have this culture of writing essays themselves. Unfortunately, I don't know why it's not promoted in high schools. What we do, I mean, I remember my own experience in high school. Copy and paste, right? That's it. In university, it changed, of course. And this is, I try to make sure our students, at least in CPC, knows no copy and paste. We have to, like, integrity. It's one of the most important like qualities US universities appreciates. That's why we try to promote that, like, from our high school students, and try to tell that to our like graduate advisors as well. And that's why we run writing marathon, where we talk about academic writing, and we try to teach how to write an essay in full like workshops. It's very basic academic writing, like for instance, argumentative essay, right? But still, if you know how to create an argumentative essay, like you know how you will do good, like in any other papers, because you will know that you will learn the basic structure. And to make sure we, you know, we encourage students participate and actually try to write those essays, we have cool prizes at the end, like for instance, free Duolingo test or free TOEFL test at the end. So we pay for you for your test, right? You don't have to spend $50 to take Duolingo, or you don't have to spend $180 to take TOEFL test. If you write an essay for us and you follow all the guidelines we taught you, if we see that you have learned, you can actually win some cool prizes. And other than that, we organize webinars, right? Webinars, I think it's a big culture of everyone right now. It's our new normal. And what we do, we have webinars with US universities, and then we have webinars like with EducationUSA team. When it comes to US universities, usually representative of US university will tell you about the application process or like anything related to application process to US university. And what's good that maybe you like that university and you have, you want to apply there. So you can ask your questions, like which concerns you directly from the university. One of the most popular webinars we had, it was with Stanford University. Of course, everyone knows Stanford, and that's why we had like 500 people participated or something. And we try to have those webinars at least once per month. So make sure you follow us on social media, because you will get to know about everything we do through social media platforms. And as I said, webinars is a good, good opportunity to learn something new by staying home. Like you don't lose anything, you don't spend any resources, but you gain a lot of information. Last but not the least, we organize fairs. So I hope everyone knows what fair is, but it's like when you come to one place and you see different different agencies selling something, right? In terms of EducationUSA, it's educational fairs. So in our fairs, you meet US universities who will tell you about their schools, and you can address all your questions. You can actually start the application process, and etc. So we have 3 types of fairs we organize. The first one is called mock fair. It's when our students they play the role of the representative of US university, and they share with you information about that school. It's a very fun event to participate in. What's good that you learn from your peers, which is, I think, sometimes maybe easier than learning from like a teacher or somebody else. We also have alumni fair, when, not just like a student who researched about school presents it, but the alumni of that university talks about his alma mater, right? So a student who studied there, who knows how the process, like who knows the school from inside, will share with you information about his university. And I mean, it's also a very fun event to participate, because you can ask very interesting questions, like maybe how the rooms are, how does rooms look like, for instance, in the university? Is food delicious? Of course, it's some, fun questions to ask, but why not, right? Sometimes some people are concerned about this kind of questions, and this is your chance to learn about that. And the biggest fairs, of course, we organize, they are like EducationUSA virtual fairs, or we used to have them offline, but for the past 2 years, the fairs are virtual. So, and usually it's a huge event. And this event is organized not just for Tajikistan, but for the whole region, for the Central Asia, for instance. And during those like online events, we have about 100 US universities participating. And you can like ask your questions, you can call the representative, you can like do a video call with them, a chat, and you can like, directly learn about different schools in the meantime. So you have about 4 hours and you have 100 schools, and you can research, you can compare, you can like, talk and decide which university you would apply right away. And I think it's a very useful event to participate, because when you do it like at that moment, you probably the decisions, they come faster, right? Because you have like questions and you get the answers immediately. Because if you like research like yourself at home, the process will take you much longer, because no one is there to answer you fast, and you would need to spend time to research, to open the web, and etc., etc., etc. This is about like major stuff we do, right? So consultations, fairs, webinars, and everything we organize, we announce about that on social media pages. Right now we have like Facebook, Instagram, and Telegram. These are the platforms where you get information right away. So if we have any like workshop coming, you will see the post and you will find the link to register either on Facebook, Instagram, or Telegram channels. Also, if you need, if you just need a consultation, if you have just a question, or maybe you want to learn about US higher education or the application process, you can simply email us first. This is our email. And we can we will respond to you. And then if you would need a consultation, you would like to talk to us, we can negotiate a Zoom call, or maybe will simply call me and we can, I will advise you by phone. So please save this information. And, if you will have any questions, we will be happy to respond to them. And, just like we do still have time, right? Just like I'm talking about, the things we do and why we do them, why we organize webinars, why we organize like college prep program, what the reason of us doing that. Because once more, we promote higher education in US, and we promote it not just because out of blue, right? We do think that education in US, it's one of the best education you may receive, and it's one of the best investments you can make. And there are 4 major reasons why we recommend you to choose higher education in USA. First of all, it's flexibility. So as I said, there are more than 4,000 US universities and colleges in US, right? They are all very different. They're different in size, they're different in terms of location, they're different in terms of programs they offer. Also, what's very important, I think, for 11-year high school student or 10th grade high school student, you don't have to know what you want to study. It's okay not to know what you want to do when you apply to US university. It's okay to tell them, I'm not sure what I like. And you can get accepted to any school because they will give you time to, to identify the major you would like to study in. Or for instance, if you are 17 years old and you think that, okay, I think I like math and I would like to study economics. You apply to economics, and then in 1 year, you have realized that it's something which is it's not interesting to you. You actually like biology and you want to be a scientist in the future, like you want to study biology. You ask universities allow you to change your majors. Or, what if, for instance, your parents, they push you to study business administration, but your art is your passion. It's not like the business which is your passion, but actually the art. So in that case, also you ask university is the right place for you to go, because you can do double major. You can study business administration because your parents pushing you to do that. But in the meantime, you can major in art and follow your passion, right? And that's why US university will allow you to do that. It's very flexible education. And as I said, it's a huge choice. You have more than 4,000 accredited colleges and universities you can choose among. If you like hot weather, for instance, you don't want to be in the cold, you can study in Florida. Very simple examples, very silly examples, but just so you to know, right? Or, for instance, you like to be the center of attention. You like to make sure that everyone knows you, that you are the queen in the class, and etc. Whatever. You can choose a smaller size school where just maybe 5,000 students study, and you will have small size classrooms, etc. Or you can choose a big university with more than 20,000 students, and you can try different things. So a lot of different opportunities are available there for you. And of course, the quality of education, you always know that if you apply and study in US university, you know that people who will, for instance, recruit you in the future, right? They would be confident in the quality of education you receive. Because open any rankings of top 50 universities in the world, you will see that half of them are located in the US, because US does offer high quality of education to students. And value, yes, when you study in US university, it's not just the education, it's not just the knowledge you will receive, it's more about the community you will make, the network you will make. It's more than just some technical skills you would get. That's why remember that. And I always get the question when people say, but it's very expensive, right? How can I afford it? Well, yes, I do agree. US universities, they cost a lot. And especially for students from Tajikistan, the funds may seem pretty high, pretty large amounts, right? But once more, remember that US education, it's an investment. It's your investment in your future self. And sometimes like, simple examples. If you graduate US university and you have like US diploma, like, and your university was like in USA, right? You have a chance to extend your student visa for 1 more year and do the OPT program, which means that you can actually work for 1 year in US, but your job should be related to your major. And simply by working for a year, you can actually get returns on your investments, right? You can actually earn the money you have spent for your education. Of course, if you do the OPT and you follow all the rules, but this is one of the examples. Or with your diploma, with network you make, maybe you would apply and continue your education. Maybe, I don't know, you will meet some right people who can bring you to brighter future. That's why, yes, it is expensive, but it's investment to your future self, to your bright and colorful future. That's what's it from my side. And if you will have any questions, I'm happy to respond.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anisa, for such a wonderful exploration of what EducationUSA offers. And I'm sure, the audience got a big picture of really interesting and really exciting opportunities that EducationUSA has by now. And of course, the alumni stories that you shared, they serve as inspiration and motivate more young people to apply for education in USA. So thank you very much. And now, we can start our question and answer session. So Anisa, we have a number of questions for you. So if you, there is a question. So do you hold webinars with the US college and university graduates who got a scholarship through your organization? And how do they share their success stories with other children in Tajikistan? And if do they provide any mentoring services? And if yes, how?
Okay, good question. Thank you. So we do hold webinars with US universities every month, at least. We try to have one webinar. Usually webinars, they are thematic webinars, right? So they talk about certain topics, but in the meantime, they talk about their school. And yes, they do share about, opportunities available, like scholarship, for instance, available for students from Tajikistan or any international students. And usually if we choose a school with whom we cooperate, we try to make sure that we work with a school who has something to offer, right? So we would never work with a university which is for profit and does not offer anything to international students in terms of grants or scholarships. So yes, when you participate in the webinars, you learn about certain topic, but in the meantime, you learn about the school and what it offers to international students, and you can ask different questions. About the mentoring, we have mentoring program, but right now it's very specific and close. It's only for our college prep club students. So our college prep club students have mentors who are currently studying in US, and majority of those mentors are international students because, well, our CPC students would also be international students, and it's not widespread for the whole audience, but I'm sure, what usually happens, that university representatives share their contact information, right? And if you would need a certain assistance, you can definitely reach out to them, and they will try to assist you as much as they can, because this is part of their job. This is why they organize these webinars. They want to make sure they support students who have interest in applying to their schools.
Thank you.
I think if you don't mind, I can read the questions myself if it's more convenient. Yeah, because I see that it's in the chat box. So let me go from top to bottom. I think would be more convenient. So I see a question that says, I heard that sometimes American universities refuse to accept Tajik students because in our schools, it's 11-year education system, not 12 as in America. Can you comment on that, please? Sure. Well, no, it's not true. Of course, I mean, it's maybe some schools would ever tell you that, but in my experience, it never happened, because they do accept the high school diplomas like attestat our students receive. And majority of US universities does not have entrance exams. So they may refuse you if you, for instance, they may reject your application if you, for instance, do not meet their minimum requirements. For instance, they require you to take an English language test, and you have to take it. You have to have a score on that test, and you have to like demonstrate that to them, right? But they usually never reject you just because you come from Tajikistan and you have 11 years of education. No, they do know, they are familiar with the education system in Tajikistan, and they always, for instance, can reach out. It's like as Education USA support high school students, the same thing we do for US universities. We explain them how the educational system in Tajikistan works. We do have webinars, for instance, with US universities where we talk about the country, and we tell them that we have 11 years of education, like the highest mark is 5, which is equivalent to A in US universities. So I would say no, it's not true. It's probably, if this happened maybe to somebody you know, I'm sure it's probably because of another reason, not just because the student finished 11 years, not 12. So it says, can you talk more about Prep Club community project? Of course, I can talk about College Prep Club a lot. So College Prep Club, it's once more for high school students, grade 8, 9, 10. And these are for students who are interested to apply to US universities. So we recruit those students and we work with them throughout the year, and we make sure that by the end of the program, they send their applications to US universities. Of course, as I said, it's 8, 9, and 10 years, right? 10 grades high school students. So those who are in 10 grades, they like apply to US universities while they're in College Prep Club. So they do it simultaneously. And this is the majority, like the biggest part of the group, 10 graders. But those who are, for instance, in 8 or 9 graders, they learn the process, they prepare, and then when the time comes, they come back, they return to us, and we work with them individually, like to help them to apply to those universities. So the initial goal of the College Prep Club program is to prepare students with strong competitive applications to US universities. And it's only for high school students, 8, 9, 10. Unfortunately, we do not recruit 11-year graders because it's because we start in March, and we work with them from March till February. So by the time the program ends, CPC ends, the 11-year grader would already graduate. So it makes no sense for him, like only if he's in gap year, like to wait for 7 more months to apply, because 11 graders usually want to apply right now, and unfortunately it's too late to apply in US when you are in 11th grade in March. You have to start the process way earlier. That's why it's only for 8, 9, or 10 graders. And unfortunately, the recruiting for this year had just closed, but we recruit every January. So if you have kids, students who are in 8, 9, or 10 grades, will be like in the next January. I definitely highly encourage them to apply. It's a great program because, as I said, yes, our initial goal to prepare the applications to US universities in US, but we do understand, that it may cost, it may be quite expensive for some of them. That's why the same knowledge they can use to apply to, for instance, US universities in Central Asia, American University of Central Asia, Nazarbayev's universities like in Astana, for instance, or there are tons of American universities in Bulgaria, in France, there are American universities like in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, Qatar, and etc., etc., etc. So they can use the knowledge they get because of the program and apply to any of those programs. I hope I did respond to your question. If you will have some, if you want to receive some additional detail, you can ask me. So what is age limit for applying to the US universities? No limits. Does not matter how old are you. If you want to study in US university, you can apply. No limitations. Are students obliged to come back to Tajikistan after graduation? No, you're not obliged to come, but it's you stay there on a visa. So if your visa ends, you have to return. This is the rule, right? So when you talk about, it's no one will push you at the end of in the middle of your studies, but yes, you have your visa, and if your visa ends, you have to return. This is the rule. Is it actually possible to double major in 2 different fields, like one in exact science and one in literature or art? Yes, it's possible, but you have to understand one thing. When you double major in absolutely different fields, then probably you would not have time to graduate university in 4 years. Most probably you would need to study 5 years or maybe 5.5. And that's why, for instance, many people try to make double major in fields that cross each other. For instance, math and economics, right? Or business administration and economics, because you have a lot of classes that cross. That's why you would be able to get both degrees in 4 years. However, if you have 2 different fields and the classes do not match, not cross at all, probably you won't have enough time to graduate everything in 4 years. You would need to study a bit longer. But of course not, but it still will not be 8 years if you would, for instance, do it like separate 4 years for art and separate 4 years for economics. But it's possible. For many families in Tajikistan, paying high tuition fee in the USA is not affordable. What are opportunities available for vulnerable but talented students? So majority of US universities do offer financial aid to international students. Many of them have different amount of financial aid. So I do know that many of students from Tajikistan, when they think about the financial aid, they think my education is free and I get stipend. In US, it works a bit different. So many US universities which offer financial aid, they call they can offer you merit financial aid or merit-based financial aid, need-based financial aid, or there are universities which call themselves need blind or need aware. So US universities who offer merit-based financial aid, they look at you in terms of your talents. So they don't care about whether you're rich or poor. They does not care about your financial status. They care about your talents. I don't know, you as a personality, right? About what you can offer at school. And in those universities, you can receive a good amount of financial aid just because you are talented. Like maybe you have high scores on tests, or maybe you have done something extraordinary for your community. And usually the merit-based financial aid comes in terms of discounts. Maybe you receive 70% off your tuition or 80% off your tuition, etc. There's also universities which offer you financial aid based on your needs. It's called financial aid, need-based financial aid, which means they look at your financial status. They see, they try, so they know what their tuition is, and they see how much, what is the amount of money your family can pay, and they try to cover the gap between this, right? But usually the need-based financial aid is rarely 100%. So you still would need to cover some part of it, because you have to understand you're not the only one requesting the financial aid. There are tons of students applying for the financial aid, and that's why university tries to make sure it helps everyone, a little bit, rather than it gives all the money to one person. Yes, but also there are schools which call themselves need blind. So it means is they see that you request financial aid, and they don't care about how much money you request. So if you get there, they make sure you are you will be there for your students. So they would cover all the expenses you cannot cover. So maybe the education would be for free for you, and etc. However, those universities who call themselves need aware, so their decision about your acceptance is based on, one of the reasons, right, on how much money you request as financial aid. So you tell them, I can cover only 10%, but university doesn't have the rest 90, so they may, defer your application or something like that. But once more, US universities, majority of them do offer financial aid to international students. But it's different amount, different students. So it's not always full. However, some universities offer full ride scholarships, which means the university covers your tuition and basic living expenses, for instance, room and board. So you study for free and you also live in the dorm for free, right? There are not a lot of them, like it's a limited number of those universities, but they are available for Tajik students to apply. And for instance, you can email me and I can share with you the list, but it's highly competitive, right? It's extremely competitive. And still, for instance, expenses like transportation, tickets to US, visa should be covered by you. If we talk about graduate programs, there are more opportunities for graduate students to study, with minimum cost, because graduate students can apply for different assistantship programs like graduate assistantship, teaching assistantship, research assistantship, whereas you can like study and assist a research team or a professor in your university. And by assisting them, you first can reduce the cost of your education, and second, sometimes you even get paid, right, for the job you do, and it helps you to cover your educational expenses. So there are many different options. It just, you have to understand, like you have to find the right one for you, right? Because as I said, like one school can offer different amount of financial aid to different students because everyone is different. Everyone's profile is different. I do hope I did respond to your question. I know it was a lot of information, but still you can apply if you are very talented and you can receive a scholarship. How many students do you accept for the prep program from Tajikistan? So it depends from year to year. We used to have 25 students only. Last year we recruited 40. This year we plan to get about 50 students. Hi, Philippines. And hi, Pakistan. The selection criteria for the college web application: will students have to write an essay? Will you provide the internet for those who do not afford it? And right now, before, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, application process to CPC was offline. So you would go to American Space in your city, you would fill the offline application, you would have an offline test there. Right now, everything we do, it happens online. Unfortunately, we do not provide students with internet because application does not take that much of a time. It's pretty simple application form with different questions. And yes, students have to attach a motivational letter, but it's very short, like it's 200 words. So our logic is that if, like, for instance, if a student does want to be in CPC, he would find his way, right, to send his application. So he can go to American Space to send his application, and I'm sure they will be happy to assist them. Or he can always call me, and we can find a way. If student wants to, to be a part of the CPC, he will find his way. Trust me. Today I had a call from a student from Jabal Rasulov. He was like, I never sent an attachment to email. Can you please explain me? And I've been working with him on a phone, explaining how you attach, for instance, like a screenshot of your documents to the email. So if you want to, you will find your way. I think so. Do you anyhow support Tajik students when they are in the US or anywhere else at the US university? I mean, if something unexpected happens, some problems. I'm not sure about which problems you talk to, but I think it's more no than yes, because if you will have some issues, you have to report to your university, because if you will study in US university, you will have a huge international office team who would be there to assist you if something happens. So I think these are the right people to report to, not us. So I think I did respond to all the questions, and thank you for the kind words about the presentation being useful. I do hope it was useful. Oh no, I see one more question. Are there any Tajik students who did their bachelor degree and started their masters? Of course, many kids, not many, let's say, at least some of those whom I know, yes, it's possible to finish your bachelor's and apply for the masters. But once more, it's more about the application process would be same, right? And if you are in US, it's much easier for you to learn about those opportunities to apply to the graduate studies. So yes, Absolutely. But if you talk about technical problems like visa and stuff, it's like, yes, you have to return, you have to reapply, and that's it. Thank you for your kind words. I think I did respond to majority of questions. I think we still have some time. So if you have other questions, you can ask me and I'm there to answer.
Thank you so much, Anisa. You've given such informative, session of about the education of the USA. So we also, get a lot of questions from teachers and from learners, and they say, could you please, find us a program that we can start as, but it's just it's a whole process that they need to go through it first. And if they really want to succeed and, to get this scholarship. So just listening to you, we understand that, they need a lot of things to know and, to do before they need to, to kind of apply for the scholarship. It's not just preparing like to have the cultural awareness, because it's something else that students also. I mean, you're doing that through your prep club, which is really great. And I think you're providing all the resources for the students, to get prepared.
That's why we exist. Like we try to make sure that the gap, of not understanding how to apply is reduced with our help. That's why. Therefore, as I said, if you have any questions about US higher education, the first point, like the first place to go and ask should be Education USA. And I'm sure, like I saw that you have a lot of visitors and not visitors, like listeners from across the country. And Education USA exists in more than 170 countries. So it does not matter where you live. If you want to apply to US university, like I saw Pakistan has a huge network of Education USA centers, right? So, and they have great advisors. Go ahead and ask your questions. Philippines, I'm sure there is a center in Philippines as well. So yes, it's a huge network. And even if some of you teachers, for instance, like you go for summer sessions to some countries, to Russia, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, there would be an Education USA Advising Center, and they will help you, because we don't care where you come from. If you have questions about US university, we are there to support you.
So Anisa, maybe this is the last question. So those who get through the prep club, what is the percentage of, those students that they get the scholarship?
So, like for instance, we have about, let's say about my 2020 statistics, right? We have 25 students, for instance, right, who graduated. I wouldn't say everyone applies. Maybe 70% of them at the end do apply to US universities, and all of them receive scholarships, but it's not full. And right, so since many expect full scholarship, I would say 1 out of the whole group would receive a full ride scholarships. Others would receive like 70%, 80%, 50% off. And there it's like when the parent should step in, right? Whether the parent can support or not. Because unfortunately, as Education USA, we cannot provide we cannot sponsor students to study for now. Maybe it will change in the future. I hope maybe there will be some programs organized, and we can do that in the future. But for now, as Education USA, we cannot sponsor our students, but we try to make sure they apply to all possible, opportunities like grants and scholarships available there. So out of, for instance, 25 students, 1 receives a full ride scholarships. 2 to 5 receive 70-80%. The rest who applied, they all receive some terms of financial aid, but it's not enough for them to actually go. So out of the whole group, it's like 3 to 4 people actually go to US. But it's like, for instance, my last year group, right? 2 of them in US university, 4 of them are flex students. For instance, like 2 of them, they won US-CAEF scholarship, they won EWC scholarship. So eventually they all go to somewhere good, right? But so if maybe eventually they will apply to that US university. I have my EWC kids, like my students who apply to United World College programs. their initial goal, like their final goal, I'm sorry, would be US University, and they end up in US universities at the end.
So it kind of prepares them, if they are not succeeded to get a full scholarship, at least it already gives them the idea how to apply, you know,
Yes,
how to write
exactly.
essay, you know, TOEFL and everything. Wow,
Yes,
that's,
exactly.
thank you, Anisa. Thank you.
Exactly. That's why, I mean, as I said, we do understand that maybe US would not be the ideal option for some of them, but with the help of the program, you are prepared and you become a highly competitive student for other like opportunities, US-CAEF, EWC, Flex, etc. Right? And we have a lot of examples of them. So.
All right. So I think it's we are just right on time, and we would like to thank Anisa for this informative webinar, which is kind of targeting not only bachelor students, even those who want to do their masters, they can also benefit from that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. And we really hope that we will have more webinars with you, because I'm sure that we will have more people who will watch it and they will have more questions. So we might have something in the future, and we would be happy to host you.
Thank you a lot for organizing this. The audience was wonderful, and I do hope it was useful. And if you will have any questions, do not hesitate to like reach out by email, by phone, or I'm sure you guys will share the contact information if needed. So
Yeah,
thank you.
Sure. English Without Borders, one of our main goals is to connect, you know, just programs and, you know, partners with each other. So we will definitely share your contacts with our audience, that they can, you know, reach out to you and have, you know, address their questions directly to you. Thank you again, Anisa, for this wonderful session. And thank you, dear participants, for your active participation and for your question. And so we will see next Thursday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.